All right, so let's identify the attraction killers. We use these a lot in the coaching program and in the masculine social dynamics, the laws and principles that we teach. So we have two chapters on these because we split them up into four. We How to use this is I'm going to give a pretty brief overview on this for you to essentially identify where you are at. So that way I can see your defense patterns, right? So in regards to coaching in this program, learning in this program, giving feedback and talking to other guys in this program and connecting and using it in a way where you're going to get the most out of it, I need permission from you to be able to mold your mind, which essentially means as we're growing in a relationship and as you're learning masculine social dynamics, you're going to have some hesitations. You're going to have some questions and you're going to have some objections around the power of what I teach. And what I like to tell people is that we teach magic, right? But we all know, right? The way people learn and learning mechanisms is everyone learns in an individual way. And there are things for us which learning get in the way. And we want to see how your patterns show up. So a little bit in a couple of videos, we're actually going to run through an exercise to see that, but I want to run you through and just identify which ones of these that you think you are. Now, I know that you've most likely, if you're here, you've heard about avoidant and anxious attachment styles, right? These, I think, attachment styles fit into these, but you know you and you know your ego. So even if you're sitting here with a pen and pad of paper, please do, or pull up a note section in another tab or on your phone, write it out, however you're going to write this out. And I'd love for you to post these into school after the next video, right? So this one's going to get you ready, and the next video is like, I think 3 or 4 down. So in this one, as I said, we're just identifying which pattern that we have, because in order for me to be able to coach you and for you to learn the skills that I've got and be able to help you have the best transformation, we need to know how this works. And I don't want to be in the position as being a coach where I know the power of my work, I see the magic of it work, and it works for absolutely everyone. Doesn't matter what age you are, where you're at in life, using this is genuine personal development, which is taught in a way which creates genuine transformation. And I need you to know, and I'd love for you to write this down, that this dating and relationship program is not about the woman, the dating, or the relationship. It is about you becoming a more free man in himself who can express himself at any moment, at any time, in any way that he desires, which is way more authentic. That doesn't allow any of these patterns or attraction killers that we see here to sabotage you, to ruin you, prevent you from having your experience. Now, if I don't know what they are, I might communicate in a way which you don't like. I might say things or teach or record videos and use terms and things that you may not like, and that's completely fine, right? It's completely fine if you don't like that. You don't even like me, right? You might even not like Corey, but like, he's got crazy energy and he's super annoying and he's always talking too fast, okay? That doesn't matter. That is completely regardless, because our mission that we're on here is every single man who heals and learns the leadership skills and becomes better and a better version of himself is literally creating a safer world for the women out there, like in the world. I don't know if you guys have known this, but if you go back through a woman's history and DNA, the amount of abuse that they've had from men is absolutely insane. And then the amount of abuse that comes back to men in regards to any stage, like like parents or children or whatever it is we cop it as well. And what we're doing is by learning these skills and transmuting this energy, is all of that gets dissolved. Your children who learn these skills from you, if you have children, obviously it depends, or even people around you who will start to see you learn and apply what we teach, these laws and these principles that become embodied as a new and improved you, those people also get healed, and those people get healed, and all the people around you will start operating in a way where it's so much more safety, so much more connection, and so much more love and abundance, right? Even in the disconnection, right? It doesn't have to be so toxic. We're like eliminating toxic relationships here. You never have to experience them because you have the tools to be able to move through what it is. So I just wanted to let you know that, like, this whole mission of what you're learning, which I thank you so much for, is also so much bigger than what we can comprehend, right? And I can't wait for you guys, right? I can't wait for you, and I apologize for that because we're making moves, right? I need as many men as possible coming in here and learning and applying. So, my request for you is to bring your most amount of focus and attention, depending on what program you're doing. If you're doing the 10-week challenge, go all in for the 10 weeks. Nothing else matters. All in on the 10 weeks. If you're coming in and learning from me, one-on-one coaching, go all in. Education, go all in. Like all in on this for a season of time, because once you've learned and embodied everything, you won't have to again, right? Maybe one top up every 4 or 5 years, right? You really don't. So let's get into it. I hope that motivates you guys. Thank you for being here. So first, attraction killer, right? So I'd love for you guys to figure out which ones of these you are. And if you need to pause or write down anything after the little motivational spiel, please do. So Mr. Fixer is the first attraction killer. So essentially this is the version of you where you can see what it looks like. It's, her work's been overwhelming. I feel like I'm failing. And then you, okay, here's what I need you to do. Talk to your boss, set boundaries, have a to-do list, right? Mr. Fixer is the guy that comes in and takes responsibility for her negative emotions. And he is the one that's trying to help her, right? Out of the goodness of his heart, right? Big-hearted, amazing person who is like, I can help you. I've learned the things and understand the stuff, right? And then you can then fall into the traps of the hero, the nice guy, the people pleaser, the yes man, they're always doing everything for everyone else. And then you're the one that gets resentful when no one gives you back what you need to do. He's the guy that has those subtle little contracts. If I do this for you, you do this for me. Or I always want to be in the position where I'm just doing everything for you, and then you must receive me, right? And that's a way of being in control, and that's what makes you feel love. Because if you're Mr. Fix-It, that's what it says, her feelings actions plan, you're always trying to figure out, look at the bot here, solution, I'll map it out, I'll get the to-do list sorted, let's go. She feels unseen and managed, right? She feels completely unseen and managed. What that looks like in a relationship, working and learning of masculine social dynamics, actually bleeds into one of the other pillars in here, is sort of like I can do it by myself, right? Oh, I can do it, I can learn it, I can fix this. And then you go out and you go, oh, I've learned this now, right? This is what this guy does. Oh, I've learned this now. Oh, good. I'll go out and I'll try and apply it to a woman. And then you will, and it won't work. And then you'll blame it back on, oh, but it's not this thing, and it's the bloody program, and it's that, damn it. Like, how come it didn't work for me? I tried it. Because if something doesn't work for you first go and you're Mr. Fix-It, you can get extremely frustrated, right? This is all your control coming out, which can really sabotage your learning situation. And so what's always sabotaging men in relationships is anytime he's holding space or sitting down with a woman, oh, let me figure this out. And then, he's doing it every day for a while, trying to help her. And then, she loses attraction because there's a negative association with every time she's around this guy, Mr. Fix-It. She's like, oh, we're always talking about deep stuff. We're always going, there's no like lighthearted and fun and play and just letting go. Now this one's been my worst. The hero savior, so that I can feel valuable, can rescue the woman. Whew, huge. So even when you like or you bond to a woman, this can come up, and it comes across as control. So we're going to need to let go our sense of control. If you need to pause or re-listen to that again, please do. I covered a lot in a very short period of time. And just write down a note if this is you and how this is you, okay? Thank you, guys. Number 2 is Mr. Nice Guy, the attraction killer, the overgiver, the over-available guy, the over-chaser, the one that, how come the women don't work for me? And you can look at this guy, hello, you there? With the text messages. That's so funny. Hello, you there? Oh my God, this is so sweet and thoughtful, and all this thoughtful stuff, and her day, I've got it mapped out and do all these things. What the nice guy doesn't understand, yes man, people pleaser, right? Mr. Fixer can turn into that. They all can blend into each other in some way, shape or form. We want to figure out which one's most prevalent and how they show up when you get triggered and reactive to something. This is the guy who needs to be always giving and giving and giving and giving, again, to feel safe, because if he's not giving and he's not doing the right thing, then he doesn't feel safe, right? So he's always the one who's self-sabotage, who'll be in the position usually when he won't break up with a woman, he'll just push her far away enough that she'll have to break up with him, and then he will feel really bad about it and process his and hers emotions, and then he'll repeat it again with the next woman, right? So he's always the one who's chasing, feels like he's texting a million different times. He's always the one planning the dates and trying to organize something, and then she's, sending the messages like this guy. Oh, thanks. Oh, that's so cute. Oh, I've kept Friday all free, and then she's like, "Hi, I'm seeing my friends." Double texting, and which I think double texting is irrelevant. But if you're a nice guy, then you're double texting like, "Oh gosh, hey, keep this time free." Always trying to catch up with the woman, always trying to do things for her, not knowing that the more he gives and the more he's giving, if she's not in a position where she can receive it, you start pushing her away. But what happens is most guys don't know this. There is a comfort being in Mr. Nice Guy, because that means you don't have to be super responsible for your actions and everything else. That doesn't mean you have to be responsible for your distraction, for not being attracted, your unattraction to a woman, right? These guys are actually likely to cheat, or these guys are they're either really likely to cheat because they have enough at some point, or they will become so obsessed with the woman they just can't get over it. It'll be like years and years and years to try to actually move on from a woman, because having to choose to disconnect from someone and reject someone else and say that that's not for me, putting yourself over someone else, is just an absolute gigantic self-worth transformation that needs to happen, but you'd rather keep yourself in a sense of low worth. A lot of actually successful guys can have this because they created their success and they're good in business for doing this, but then when it comes to relationships, it's like, whoop, now I can put myself right back down here. So what that looks like, in our relationship, in coaching and learning this and understanding, is being the guy who's always trying to teach, trying to coach, or trying to help others. That's the guy that when you and I are having a conversation, if I'm coaching with you one-on-one, you say, "Oh, when you do this, and when you do that, and then when you're talking to a woman, and then she does this, and that what you should do back is always this, 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 and this." Notice how I was saying a lot of yous? It's telling stories when I'm saying the word you a lot instead of I. It's the guy that says, "Oh, I went through," the guy who, if you're not a nice guy, you'll say, "I went through this, and this is the experience that I had." And you're never really putting yourself over someone else. The nice guy usually has bad boundaries because he experienced a lack of boundaries as a child. Okay? So, write that down. Pause and write that down. Which, are you a nice guy? How are you a nice guy? Where it's that at? How's the defense mechanism? Can you see that getting in the way of learning masculine social dynamics? Can you see that getting in the way of connecting with the guys in the program or your relationship with me or one of the coaches? Number 3, Mr. Passive Attraction Killer. This is the guy who don't make decisions. Now, just because you're someone who may make a lot of decisions does not mean that you're not Mr. Passive in relationship, right? It can be completely different. The second you like a woman or you see a future with her can, ruin everything sometimes. So this is the guy that basically doesn't make right decisions. He's the guy's always friend in the friend zone. Look at the volcanoes just under him, like, this meaning internally, it feels like he's about to explode, but he's like, it's okay, I'll just go with the flow, or I'll just wait for the right moment, like I'm there, man. So what it is, I don't want to pressure her, I don't want to walk on eggshells, I don't want to come on too strong, I don't want to make it awkward and ruin the vibe. I'm taking it slow to be respectful. I'm waiting to see what she wants. I'm just waiting for the right moment. So he's always ending up in the woman's frame consistently, and essentially he always loses chemistry with the woman. She's always ending it with him being like, "Hey, this was nice, but I don't want to see you that way." Other men always get the girl you want. You start noticing there's other guys and you're like, why are they with the girl that I want? You can even get plenty of other girls. You can be great with the ladies and the ladies, man. But the second that you like someone, this guy, oh God. And then you become the friend zone. You can get along with women's really well. But this guy was never allowed to make decisions with mum or dad, right? They had to make decisions with everyone else. So sometimes, he can also be passive in business, but also just for some of you guys, because I know there's high performers in here, is you want to control and become so good at business so that you can have somewhere to make decisions, and then it's like you don't want to make decisions anywhere else, right? And then when it comes to women and you like women, it's like, well, why isn't this working? I think I'm doing the right thing, and I'm doing it for her, right? So being in the position where you have to put your will above someone else's feels rude to you, feels controlling for you, doesn't feel right to you, and that is going to absolutely kill attraction, and it's not going to work with any woman who's feminine. right? It won't work with any woman who's feminine, because the feminine needs to be led. So you have to be you gotta learn that the ability to be able to communicate your will in a way that's attractive, that's with love, that's with leadership, that lands well in her nervous system and her body, and we'll teach you how to do that. And that's what's going to happen. The passive man is usually also the avoidant guy, and in our relationship, he's the guy that drops off in week 5. Right? He's the guy. Don't be that guy. Don't come in for 4 or 5 weeks and be the guy that's learning all this stuff and don't finish it. Right? Mr. Passive doesn't finish things. Head in your calendar right now. Block out the time. Weeks 1 to 10. This is my studying. What can get in the way of your time here? If you're one-on-one coaching with me, that looks like not messaging me. That looks like avoiding me. Right? That looks like not texting me or updating me or just thinking, oh no, it'll be fine. Don't update Corey. I don't want to bother him. I don't want to blah, 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 blah. Like, I'm telling you, like, I would rather you message me 100 times and I get back over a 4-day holiday and I get back to my phone and it is blown up from you. I would much rather that, and I'll go through everything. Like, way prefer that than anything else. So, you know, this is the guy that will happen. And then you also become avoidant, and then you can start to, you know, for you, it might be like, oh, I'm not getting anything from this program. I can't be doing anything with it. Like, this is really frustrating. You know, well, it was not for me anyway, right? Is the thing. So I've already established at the start of this video, it doesn't matter who you are. Like, it will work for you. You pay attention and you learn it. The abilities here, it's going to work for you in every way, every sense of the word. I've proven it. Work with people in their 19 to 70 years old in all different fashions. Learned it. It'll work, right? But this is, when you've noticed this trigger, the thing that pops in your head is usually, this ain't gonna work for me. Let's not worry about it. I'll do it another time, or I'll just delay. Like, if you want to break the passive man attraction killer, is you show up, right? And you write down on a piece of paper how you show up, what your commitment is, and what you know will happen when you start to avoid it, and how you can communicate it. I'm showing up as the passive man right now. I don't want to be that guy anymore. I'm not him. I will not let that Mr. Passive take over, right? Because, you know, a lot of our theory that I teach is we learn the opposite skill to being passive. You know, we learn the man who takes action and what he does and what he's like and how he lives his life, instead of being Mr. Passive. And regardless of how he feels, you start making some awesome change, right? And yes, I said regardless of how he feels, but I mean more so because he's created a great relationship with how he feels. Then we have the last guy. So if you need anything, write that down, and then we'll get to the last one, Mr. Know-it-all attraction killer. This guy's Mr. Overconfident. His certainty addiction, word dumping, performs big words to control the vibes. He's very sure of himself, Mr. Know-it-all. Right? Let me explain. This is the logical. You know, usually there's a word there, I want to be understood. Make sure I'm understood, right? I've done the work. You know, I've done the work. I've done plant medicine. I've done shadow work. I've done therapy. I've done some other psychedelics. I've done psychotherapy. I've done the research. I've listened to the books. I've listened to the podcasts, right? And then he'll come and talk to me, or let's do it with women first. So when it happens to when a woman has a problem, or when she's talking about anything or trying to organize anything, right, is she can open up, right? She is really good at opening up. She's good at talking to you because you know how to essentially, you know, fix everything because you know everything. But over a time, for some reason, it just fizzles out, and you're like, how come this didn't work? I thought it was really good, right? This guy always gets like the short straw, the rug pulled out for him. Oh, this was going amazing. She doesn't want to date 3. She doesn't want to date 6. The second that you actually love this one, right? And you're like, what the hell, right? And that is because you probably did most of the talking. You know, I've been this guy so many times, right? But most of the time is that you're actually right too. Like, what you know is legit. What you do know is cool. The experiences that you've had is awesome. But the thing is that there's this uncomfortability with certainty, right? And needing to be right, overperforming, right? Which is like, if I'm right and I understand it and she understands me, then she's going to be attracted to me. And then all this tension that I feel is, oh, I'll be able to feel safe. There are so many wounds that come under this guy that it is like, you know, oh, thanks, baby. Appreciate you. Look at the sexy dress. Wow. Hey, guys. So there are so many different wounds that this guy has that shows up in regards to a mask of like, look at this guy, got it together. And he's also really addicted to time. He's always like, I need to be here on this time at this place, organizing this thing and blah, 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 blah. So there's always a lot going on for the know-it-all, right? It is the I would say, like, yeah, it's the most underdog attraction killer out of all of them. So how that works in our relationship is essentially you're not going to trust me, right? You find it very hard to trust me. You won't trust what I say in the videos. You'll find every excuse possible under the sun to say, well, that's not right, or I don't like Corey because of that reason, or there's that reason where, like, sure, what would he know? He's younger than me. He's better looking than me. I'm kidding, guys, right? He's younger than me. He's uglier than me. He's his videos aren't crazy high quality. He's just recording off of a webcam. What would he know? Does he even have a girlfriend? I do. What has he suffered? Has he been married? Has he even had kids? Like, what would he know? Or like, oh, that thing wouldn't even work. Or, anything possible to pick something apart because you're genuinely good at problem solving, which can, it can completely invalidate, your whole experience being here, being the know-it-all. This guy usually finds it hard to trust, right? Just to give trust straight away. Has a lot of interest in things. He can be excited about stuff, but when it comes to, being, actually surrendering into trust, can find it very difficult. So that looks like a lot of resistance, a lot of I need to know, I need to teach, I need to be the person in control again in order to be able to receive and learn this information, okay? So I would like to know how that shows up for you and what could get in the way of your learning between our relationship, even learning everything in the program. And, if it doesn't work, for you, something that you're looking at, it's like, can you be open-minded to it? How can you let Mr. Know-It-All go? Like for me, this is the hardest one that I've ever had to go through. So thank you guys for listening to this and getting prepped and ready. Please write these down. We go into more detail in coaching programs and in the theory and masculine social dynamics of this because it's extremely important. But we have like worksheets and other stuff to really help you like get what's going on. So we just want a couple of notes, write them down in a notepad or type them in your notes somewhere for this. We want to highlight them because I said in a few videos, we're going to talk about them more so in how these show up in relationships, but more so how it shows up and prevents you from learning and acquiring all of the knowledge and embodying it that we have in here so that you can become the best man possible who can lead and guide and allow his woman to absolutely melt for him, which, as we saw before, was like kind of great timing, especially how pretty she looked in that red dress. What the hell? All right, guys, speak to you soon.